Last segment of this episode, and what are we looking forward to in 2021? Who do we want to drop? Phoenix, you mentioned Kendrick Lamar. Is he number one at this point?
I think he's totally number one. I think you know what's interesting is I'm a huge Kendrick stan, but I'm never somebody who likes to tweet at these artists or even has the mindset of gotta give me the music, gotta give me the music, gotta give me the music. You know what I mean? I'm somebody who has those thoughts, but massively represses them. And I try to you know what I mean? Because in my head, I also, with every Kendrick album, with every superstar album, whether it's a Cole or a Drake, those are, superstars that have high expectations and that I personally love a lot. So that means I have personally a lot of expectations to them. So I'd rather wait for an album that I'm very, very happy with versus, hearing something that sounds rushed. But I gotta say, dude, Kenny, Kung Fu Kenny, if you're out there listening, which would be ridiculous, go
You're
back
not,
in the
but
studio. Yeah, but I think just given the year we had, it's kind of just made me feel like if there's anybody I want to hear, or if there's any time I would actually put the responsibility of making music onto an artist as a requirement, it would be Kendrick Lamar in the climate of 2020. You know what I mean? Or post climate of 2020. And because I'd take it now, it'd still be just as happy, but it feels like he almost missed a certain window of time that would have made an album of his that had any kind of commentary on it be super, super legendary, honestly, and I don't even think that's an overstatement just in terms of who Kendrick is, you know what I mean? Because he's delivered these kinds of projects before. And when To Pimp a Butterfly came out around the time of Ferguson and all of the police brutality that was happening, that's part of the reason why that album has gone down, or, has been so critically acclaimed, not only because of its musicality, but in the context of where we were when that album dropped. So I also felt like 2020 would have been a good time to kind of maybe give us one of those things. Because, he was doing Damn with his whole, really kind of leaning into the I'm a hip-hop superstar and I can rap over commercial Boy Wonder, Hit Boy type beats, Mike Dean type beats. And I think that was amazing, because I think every rap star should have that phase, right? I think it's just a kind of cool way to reinvent yourself when you're somebody who's typically a little bit more humble, or not very flashy. Kind of took his run to talk his talk, you feel me, and be a major superstar. But I think 2020 would have been a great time to kind of get back in that To Pimp a Butterfly, you know what I mean, critical, analytical realm. And I think he would have done that really well. So this is the only time where I've ever felt dang, now I want him, I need him to drop it. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like I'm losing out on him not dropping, where usually my attitude is the more you wait, the better it'll be.
Well, you bring up a great point. I think he missed an opportunity here in 2020, and I really do. I'm curious as to why he didn't drop in 2020, because very early on in the year of last year, the notion was that he was going to drop in 2020, because it's been almost 4 years since we've heard a Kendrick Lamar album.
Now it's been 4 years almost, and usually it's a 3 to 4 year cycle though.
Yeah,
but now it's a long 4 years. It's felt like.
Though no, because there was only a 2-year difference, I think, between To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn. I believe Damn was
To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn.
Right, because I'm pretty sure Butterfly was 2015 and Damn was 17. Am I wrong about that? 14, 16, 15, 17? It was something like that.
I'm going to fact check you right now. You got 2015 on TPAB.
Okay.
And I think you're right. I think 2017 on 2017. Yeah, so that was only 2 years in between that one.
It's only 2 years. And then I think Good Kid, Mad City was 12. So there was only a 3-year difference between that and Butterfly. So this will be his longest gap between albums.
Yeah.
Right? Really since Section 80, because Section 80 was 11. So really, or 10, whatever it was. So this is definitely his longest gap. And I was hearing at the beginning of the last year, I don't know if you heard the same, but he was going for like a rock inspired
Yep,
type of
I
album.
heard that. Yeah.
I don't know if that still rings true. I don't know if he scrapped that. He's going to do something else. Who knows? Like he's been.
You heard
very
any of his
quiet.
leaks?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Oh, dude. I mean, there's some leaks out there that kind of, I think, support the fact that he's definitely, it seems like he's dabbling in rock. But off of the leaks, I wouldn't even say it's rockish. There's definitely a lot of just guitar incorporation and rockish kind of drums, which I guess is like, yeah, that's rock. But it's still very, very, very hip-hop.
Okay.
If anything, it's psychedelic, and at least in terms of the leaks that I've heard. And they were actually really good. There was some leaks with Baby Keem that were out there, and again,
That's his cousin, isn't it? Aren't they cousins?
What was that?
I think it's
Yeah,
his
they are
younger
cousins.
cousin.
Yep. Yeah, they are cousins. And I don't even usually listen to leaks a lot because I find they can be really disappointing.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting and fiending for this Kendrick Lamar so bad, so I let myself have it. And there's 3 leaks that are out there right now. One with Baby Keem, 2 by himself, that sound honestly really, really sick. So I thought with those leaks floating around that the music was going to inevitably follow up soon, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, so he's probably at the top of my list too for 2021. Like if we don't get a Kendrick project, I'll definitely be disappointed to say the least.
That'll be 5 years, dude. That'll be 5 years, which would be crazy.
If he goes all 2021 without releasing anything, yeah, that'd be.
Or I guess that would be the 4 years finishing and then going on to the 5th year
Going
of
on to
like,
the 5th year.
Where's the music, dude? That's crazy. I think the reason why the gap though between Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly felt so large is because with Good Kid, like it was kind of like, I feel like that's where he really solidified himself and kind of had his coming out party.
Totally.
He really emerged, and I think very, very rarely do you see an artist kind of hit the scene like that and then just shut up and disappear. And then to follow up with something as abstract and out of the box as To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
It felt crazy. And I think even with the 2-year gap from To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, the thing that can make those time periods feel even longer is that he's so quiet. Like, you don't hear of Kendrick Lamar while he's not making music.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that makes that last longer.
Exactly. That's in essence why I'm so kind of just waiting and hoping we get something from him. So we'll see. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. I am very, very curious to hear this Drake Certified Lover Boy album. That is really because I've said this for so long, and everyone thinks I'm crazy saying this. Hopefully, I don't know where you're going to sit with this. Hopefully, you don't think I'm crazy too. I want Drake to do an R&B album, just strictly an R&B album. I would love.
Who thinks you're crazy for that?
People think I'm nuts for saying that. I have friends that are like, you're insane if you don't want Drake to rap.
You're
want
talking
him
to the Backpackers, man. that's why
apparently.
you're talking to the Backpackers.
I want him to do an R&B album, and I have a funny feeling this Certified Lover Boy is going to maybe be it, and I'm very excited for it, and I'm not like the biggest Drake stan. I just want to put that out there. Like, I do love Drake, like just as much as anybody, but I'm not like one of those people that's like fiending for Drake. Like when it comes to like, you know, the big 3, we'll call them, with Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. It's Kendrick and Cole first for me, and then Drake, just because Drake has put out stuff I've questioned and haven't like always loved. And not to say that Cole hasn't had his misses as well. Kendrick, I feel like, is the only one that has basically, for me, like no misses.
I know that's right. Yo, me too. Yo, we are such a clear bias because I think generally, honestly, J. Cole has a little bit more household or just casual listener kind of appeal. You know what I mean? And obviously, so does Drake. Drake is the king of the pop rap right now. But I just think it's funny that we have an agreement where it's like, oh, but Kendrick Lamar is the only one with a literal flawless catalog, and I'm sure there's other people out there who disagree.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's individual songs on Kendrick Lamar albums I don't like love, but I mean, in terms of full projects, hell yeah. Like there were certain projects with. Yeah, there were certain projects with Drake where I would be like, meh, I don't know, I'd liked half of it, not loved it. Like for me, like, and other people think I'm crazy too for saying this, but nothing was the same. I thought there were a lot of songs on that I did not like especially like the more trap inspired ones that he was definitely going for just like a chart topping song. Like,
oh yeah, you're crazy.
I don't. Maybe I am. There's songs on there like I love the intro. The intro to that is one of my all-time favorite Drake songs. Stupid good, where he's completely going through the 3 different beat switches. It's insane.
Yeah.
The song Too Much with Sampha is just fucking incredible. But there's nothing there that like kept me coming back enough. Like there's songs like Connect and what was that, 305 to My City, like shit like that. Oh, and then Started from the Bottom. I always hated that song. So I feel like
yeah. You know, that one is there's definitely a lot of his radio stuff. You know, like Just Hold On, We're Going Home. Wow, I forgot about that. Like Just Hold On, We're Going Home. Like that. Definitely, he's doing a lot of his radio stuff. But I feel like that for every song that is a radio hit, there seems like there's another song that's like introspective and lyrical.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't hate Nothing Was the Same. I just think it's a little overrated. That's where I sit with it. Like, I'm a big Take Care guy. Like when it comes to Drake, like I really loved Take Care, and I actually really enjoyed Views. I know that. I mean, there were some songs. Again, it was very similar. There was some on the back end that I could have done it without. But most part, I liked Views probably a little bit more. I remember listening to it a little bit more than Nothing Was the Same front to back in terms of. I think
interesting.
Yeah, Nothing Was the Same. For me, definitely had. I mean, there were good songs, and Nothing Was the Same. Like, let's not get it twisted. Let's not act like it was a bad album because it wasn't a bad album. But I don't think Drake or like none of them have a bad album, right? But even even for Cole,
how'd you feel about Scorpion? Sorry, you were gonna transition to Cole, but since we were talking about
I'm glad you asked.
Boy and Drake, how'd you feel about his or Dark Lane demo tapes?
Dark Lane demo tapes was fine. I wasn't. None of it made my top 20 of 2020 or anything like that, or anything for top stuff. And I definitely. I mean, put it this way. Laugh Now, Cry Later was an honorable mention for me this year. So again, it's not that I don't dislike Drake. Put it that way. Like I do like Drake. Put it that way. Like let's be clear on that. Scorpion was okay. I don't remember now. Like I don't remember like coming back to it a ton. To be quite honest, I think it was a little oversaturated at the time.
Me too. I kind of liked it a lot when it released, and then I found myself it lacking in replayability for the most part.
Very much so.
In terms of the whole in terms of the whole project, there were the certified hits on there and certified deep cuts. Like Jaded to me is actually one of Drake's best tracks and R&B tracks, but it's that is within what, like a 25 song project, you know what I mean?
It was a double disc, right?
And I wish he would have committed more. I wish he would have committed more, because on paper that sounds amazing, right? Like everybody kind of wants Drake to find, especially since he's been able to kind of keep one foot in both. Everybody wants Drake. Everybody wants to hear a concise, focused side of Drake. Whether you're the side that wants, because I'm on both. I want a rap album, but I also want a pure R&B album. But I think overall, what I want him to do is commit to one of the sounds, because I find that even though I love that he can bounce from sound to sound, and if he does that well, then it'll be an amazing album. But I think some of the parts is when you're a rap fan and he only gets into it for 2 or 3 tracks, if you feel like it's kind of lacking. And if you're an R&B fan and he only kind of does the R&B thing for 2 or 3 tracks, then it kind of feels like, oh, you just want a little bit more of that. So I think we all want, an exclusive sound to one of his next projects. And I wouldn't be mad whether it was rap or R&B, but I totally would love an R&B, even though I'm primarily a hip-hop fan and a rap fan. And in terms of Drake, I actually like his rapping more than I like his R&B, but I think he does R&B at a high level, honestly, as a rapper. So I'd be happy with both. I think that's interesting that you're around people who are telling you you're crazy. Dude, you got to get around some different dudes, or get around girls. Like, I don't know. Because people don't want an R&B Drake album.
I want an R&B Drake album. I've wanted that since Take Care. There were certain songs on that I really enjoyed. Like for example, Marvin's Room is one of my all-time favorite Drake songs. So like that for me, like if I had a Marvin's Room inspired album from Drake, that's why I would really love that. So I don't know. We'll see what Certified Lover Boy sounds like. Just off the title, though, it gives off that it's going to be more soulful R&B in nature. But I could be wrong. I'm hoping that this is where he finally does that for me and goes in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, it would be shocking if Certified Lover Boy was his rap project. That would
flipped
be
it. Well,
wow. That would be out of left field.
And that is why I think I'm so excited for this one, and why all last year I was really hoping that it would come out. But hey, whatever. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Marvin's Room is also Drake's biggest hit, which I think is so nuts. And if this is off of a Google search I've even done right now, Drake's biggest hits. But like it's definitely one of his biggest Billboard hits. I know that for sure. And I just think that just for me goes to show like I think like that is like the thesis of like how crazy of an artist Drake is to have a song like Marvin's Room be a Billboard track. And like that is like R&B moody rap song. Like it's a hybrid of both because he has dope verses in there, but it's also singing. I digress. You know, we can move on from now, but I'm definitely interested in an R&B. Like, give me the full commitment to the sad boy. You know what I mean? I think that's where Scorpion and Dark Lane demo tapes and some of his other projects are lacking. Is that like
that focus?
That focus and the commitment to one side or the other. Even though we've loved for so long that you can be a hybrid, but let's stop talking about Drake. Let's back to Cole. You were saying about the fall off. Did you see that little thing he put on Instagram with the notes?
I did. I did.
So it looks like there's going to be the fall off and the off season.
Yeah. So which leads me to believe that. Originally that the fall off was supposed to be his last, but now it sounds like he's going to do something else as well.
Right.
And I'm interested because that's why I said I don't know if the fall off is going to come first or if something else is going to come now and before it. Like, is the fall off now going to be the last Cole album? I'm not sure.
Right. In terms of order, I'm not sure, but he's always kind of hypothesized about doing like the off season tape, and even fall off kind of connects thematically to his other mixtapes of Bright Lights, Friday Night Lights, and Sideline Story. You know, kind of the whole like I'm an athlete on the bench kind of thing, and
ready to go. Yeah. Ready for my time to shine.
Wish someone made a manual to how to get up off the sidelines. You know, that's so fire. So I think it seems like for a while now he just has been wanting to execute those ideas of like, you know, that are still more thematically connected to kind of like sports. So I think off season and fall off, even though fall off seems more relevant to him as like an artist, I think we're gonna get 2 more projects, but in terms of what order, who knows?
And he does have the sneaker coming out with Puma.
So
that's why I think that's going to fit the whole kind of aesthetic of what he's going to maybe go for this year in terms of like you said, with either the fall off or the off season. I mean, who knows? Like, I mean, people say they retire all the time. I mean, that's to stay in the sports realm. Conor McGregor. How many times has this dude friggin' retired? And he actually, as the night we're recording this, he has another fight tonight. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, and then people with like how Logic quote unquote retired. Like, I don't know if I buy that either. I think in the next couple of years we might hear another Logic album. I don't know. That's just me. But
yeah,
that term retirement is so loose in these types of professions when it comes to being creative and things like that. You know what I mean? I just don't see why a retirement for Cole right now makes a ton of sense. But I don't know. He's become an older head at this point, which is pretty interesting to me. Like, he's
definitely an elder statesman.
Yeah, at this point in time, he is, right. He talked about that years ago with oh my God, I'm so bad with names sometimes with some of these songs. What was that song where he was he came out with, and he was talking about how he feels like he was, it was Middle Child, that's what it was, where he felt like he was somewhere in the middle. Now I almost feel like he's definitely on that back end where he's really kind of becoming like the elder statesman. And so I'm curious with Cole. Love to see if we get either of those projects this year. Because of the shoe, I feel like we're going to, because it's just going to be another way for him to promote both at the same time.
Definitely. I just saw something about Kyle Kuzma. I was like, tried to Google it right now, and all I'm getting is like actually articles from like last year. But I saw something recently on Instagram where I thought Kyle Kuzma was rocking his the Cole shoe.
Really?
Yeah, I think this might be like a part 2 because I know he's coming out with another shoe. But even as I look right now on Google, NBA players debut J. Cole's signature shoe, and this is in July of 2020. But I think he has. They're called like Dreamers.
The Dreamer, yeah.
RS Dreamer. I think there's a RS Dreamer 2 coming out.
Okay.
And I think Kyle Kuzma just got his hands on it, because he's in the NBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally feel like Cole is there. Kind of the same reason why we also have, obviously, like you're saying, the big three. They're not only still the biggest three artists now, but they're getting to that point where they're becoming the OGs. You feel me? Like kind of like the top three big brothers of everybody else. I still feel like Middle Child still feels very relevant in terms of the way that I can imagine that J. Cole would perceive himself of like still feeling like what J. Cole is 31, 32.
He's older than that. I think he's like 34.
He's 35.
35. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, that in context of a music career is pretty old. Because you've been sustaining your or at least in hip hop, we'll say you've been sustaining success for a while now. But still, in the context of his life, he still feels very young, and he still seems to, he's obviously grabbing from a lot of traditional, old school hip hop sounds and stuff. So I can see why he's like, everybody's looking at me like I'm a big brother, but at the same time, I still perceive myself as somebody looking up to everybody before me. You know what I mean? And not feeling like you're quite the veteran just yet. Like, you know what I mean? Which I think is interesting. But dude, so we got all the obvious ones out the way. We got like, look at us. We're such a unique, crazy hot takes. We want J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar to drop an album. Who are the sleepers, dude? Who are the sleepers? Don't tell me Frank Ocean, because obviously we all want Frank Ocean, and I was gonna say that. But let's what are some of the smaller artists? Do you have any smaller artists that you're like, dang, dude, need the project?
Not smaller in the sense, but actually, this is going to be an interesting dynamic here. I so badly want a Brockhampton album this year. I really hope we get a Brockhampton project. I obviously haven't gotten one since Brockhampton came out with their 2019 album.
Is Iridescence their last one?
Iridescence was not their last one. They did Iridescence. That was right after Amir Van came. When Amir Van left was right around the Iridescence time. And then they came out with Ginger in 2019.
Ginger, yeah.
Which was that was more of like the response to like the turmoil with Amir and all that. And weirdly enough, the dynamic, the dichotomy here is I really am looking forward to an Amir Van project too, to see fully like where he goes from his EP that he dropped. Really sort of interested to see if because he's starting to make waves again. Like people are like after.
Are we allowed to say that? Are we allowed to say we like Amir?
I think it's fine because listen, like I'm not condoning anything like in his personal life that he did, and again, I put it this way, I was kind of ready to write him off until I heard his interview with Sway. Have you seen that interview?
I haven't. No.
Anyone that hasn't seen that.
I remember it circulating though.
Yeah, go back and listen to that interview. It humanizes him a little bit more. And you like again, I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not condoning for what he's done, but it sounds to me like he understands the error of his ways, and that he sounded very remorseful for them. He sounded like he had people around him supporting him to try to get him in the right direction. I mean, he went to a rehab. He went to like an outpatient mental health hospital for mental health and things like that, and trying to wrestle with some of the demons that he was dealing with. And I mean, and then his project.
By no means, I wasn't trying to push you on the spot there. I just know there's obviously tons of controversy surrounding his name.
Oh, for sure. No, and again, I'm not. I don't. It's hard because I don't want to fully like. I don't want it to seem like because I support his music, like or fully support his music, that I'm supporting like. His actions, but I feel like it's kind of now becoming like, where does he go from here? You know what I mean? In terms of like, and again, nothing he did sounded like incredibly incriminating or egregious. It just sounded like he was kind of a major fucking asshole, really. Like, you know what I mean? He's an asshole to women. He wasn't a very good friend. Like, he made a ton of mistakes. There was a lot of demons that he was probably just going through when he was a little younger. Again, I'm not like, I'm not condoning.
This is not to excuse any of those actions, right? And I think one of the biggest things is that in the midst of cancel culture that we've created here,
Right.
I think we oftentimes don't want to give people second chances, and I think, like, it's a complicated conversation because you want to be fragile, and it's also it's complex, or you want to be delicate because it is a fragile situation, and there are people who are affected. But I think something that we've lost and something that we could do more of, without being tolerant of negative behavior, is still giving people the chance to speak for themselves, or the chance to be judged one more time, even if our judgment was correct and this guy is an a-hole and deserves to be exiled. Because of the uncertainty surrounding it all, and because no one will ever really know what happens until there's the real evidence of what happens, I think it's good to, it's healthy to like hear people out, or healthy to at least keep your eye on the situation. And in terms of artists, the biggest way that you can kind of get a read about where their head is digesting their art. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, it's weird. Like I said, he hasn't been canceled. I mean, he was for a little while. He came back, and people seem to be supporting him again. He definitely some of his singles have done fairly well in the last couple of months. I think he dropped one like late 2020 that did pretty well, and he just dropped one recently that I definitely enjoyed the aesthetic from. And I always just liked his voice. I liked the way he rapped. It's a little bit one dimensional, but in terms of he
was the strongest rapper for sure. In my opinion, in terms of like a traditional rapper.
Yes. I mean,
Kevin Abstract being the other
for
one.
For sure. I mean, artistically, I think that they've gone in a direction that they wouldn't have gone in without, or had they kept him. But having said that, I mean, I'm more of a, put it this way, I am much more of a Brockhampton fan than I am an Amir Van fan at this point. Like, I am more just interested to hear the Amir Van project and like where he kind of goes with his content, and like off of like a manual. Like, does he kind of just, because what I don't want him to do is completely like think, oh, I dropped a manual, I don't have to talk about it anymore. Like, I really want to hear a little bit more about his psyche, where he's at. Like, it's more of an intrigue with Amir Van than it is like I'm like anticipating the album,
right? Or actively looking to support the album, right?
Exactly. With Brockhampton though, like, all right, it's been like them. I feel like they're interesting because I feel like for the last year they've been very quiet, and it's. I think because, though, a lot of ways they did drop a lot of music in 2019, especially Kevin Abstract, right, with Ginger and also his solo effort. So I'm definitely curious to see where they go from here. And really the next artist that, again, as another one that I'm very much intrigued by, again, had more of a quiet 2020, and was Denzel Curry. Very interested to see what he does. And I'm pretty sure he even said as well, he's limited in terms of how many albums he's going to be releasing going forward. I think he said he's claiming he has a few left, supposedly.
They all say that, man. They all say that.
I know. But so I'm definitely curious to see where Denzel goes, especially because he has said this too. He likes to do like a small project 1 year followed by another full length. So this year he did that little Unlocked EP with Kenny Beats. So that kind of leads me to believe that he's probably going to drop like a full length. Where do you sit? Like, what are some hip hop albums that you're interested in hearing in 2021, or artists you hope drop music?
Yeah, I mean, I was putting you on the spot there, making you come up with these other artists, and then I realized, oh wait, maybe I'm not prepared. But no, I actually, as I looked through my library real quick, YBN Cordae, or he's just Cordae now. Actually, it's
Cordae.
no YBN no more.
Cordae. That's a good one.
I'm looking
Cordae.
forward to. He's dropped a couple of singles. He was dropping a couple of singles here and there in 2020 that were dope. I liked. But I really loved his debut album. 2019, I think it came out. Yeah, 2019, Lost Boy. I really loved that project.
Really
dude.
good.
He to me sounds like the next, the Coles, the Coles,
Very
and
much
and
so.
the Kendricks.
Very much so.
So I'm totally looking for him to put out another full length project. honestly. And then somebody else I had real quick. Where was it? Where was it? Maybe that's it for rap. There was one more artist I had, but I can definitely, if we want to transition now, maybe to outside of rap. Cordae is somebody I'm looking forward to for sure, 100% in rap, because I love the lyrical flow kind of stuff. I think he's gonna be nice. Somebody I'm really looking forward to outside of rap is Daniel Caesar. I love Daniel Caesar, and I feel like I could really use another Daniel Caesar project. Even though I don't think it's been incredibly long. I think his last project was also in 2019.
I think it was, because he came out with the one where, oh my God, who worked on that one with him? John Mayer worked a lot on that.
Yeah. The Case Study 01 was 2019.
Yeah, I want to say.
So I'm totally ready for another Daniel Caesar project.
Daniel Caesar
and
for
I'm
sure.
also really ready for another Sir project.
Sir would be, that would be another one that I definitely would want, especially in R&B. Another actually, that just get real quick in hip hop. I want another Slow Tie album. He's another guy.
I've actually been listening to Slow Tie recently. It's funny you say that.
He's another one that I really want to hear in 21. He's an artist that I've really, really enjoyed. And then actually another TDE artist. I'll stay in the TDE since you said Sir. I want another SZA project. Because Control
that's
was
been coming, right? That's like, we're hoping that's on its way.
I hope so, yeah.
Those last two tracks, I mean, Hit Different was a banger that she came out of nowhere with.
Hit Different.
And this Good Days project is an absolute banger. And the Good Days track, Good Days single, that has been a banger. And Hit Different was also, both of these tracks have recently been followed up with music videos too. So it seems like she's on track to release.
And then another one too, I hope releases this year in terms of staying in the R&B side is Georgia Smith.
That's wild. Actually, that's so interesting. I have not thought of Georgia Smith in forever.
Georgia Smith
She's
would
an
be
amazing
another
talent.
artist that I'm really looking forward to. And then the last one, I'll say, or actually I'll have two more that I want albums from this year. John Bellion would be another artist that I want to drop this year. He's been very quiet in 2020. He really was very, very quiet. He was actually one of the last concerts I saw before everything kind of shut down. I saw him 2 summers ago, and he dropped Glory Sound Prep in 2018. So I'm very curious to see if he drops anything this year. That'd be like about going on 3 years. And then the final artist that I'm very much looking forward to drops, hopefully again, this was maybe won't happen this year, but I would love a Gary Clark Jr. project as well.
I'm not familiar with Gary Clark.
One of the best guitarists out right now, in my opinion, like modern guitarists. He's absolutely incredible. If anyone hasn't heard his This Land album from 2019, it was one of my favorite albums of 2019. It was definitely on my list. I believe it was like in the top 10. Definitely an incredible album. Oh, and then the last one. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm forgetting these guys. Emotional Oranges.
Oh, Emotional Oranges goes hard.
That's another one that I really hope that they drop. Would be Emotional Oranges. So
I can also sneak in a couple more here now
Go
that
for
I'm able to look at my library.
Yeah,
Alex Isley. Alex Isley.
Okay.
She would be dope. She's been releasing a lot of stuff with Jack Dine or Jack Dean. I don't know how to pronounce his name specifically, but they've been putting out these. I think I sent you maybe one of their tracks, but they've been putting out these tracks together that have been fire. And Alex Isley, I feel like, is somebody that in terms of R&B has been around for a couple years, and I had heard of her probably about 2 years ago and thought she was amazing and thought she was gonna go places, and then it's kind of been quiet for her. And in 2020 she put out these other singles with Jack Dine or Jack Dean, excuse me, I don't know how to pronounce it, but they were fire. Oh, and this reminds me now of another R&B artist, but I'd like to hear Alex Isley. I'd like to hear I'm also double checking because sometimes artists drop stuff and you don't even realize, but
I know, right?
Mahalia. Mahalia, you know Mahalia?
I don't. I know.
Mahalia
I gotta get hip.
Big banger music, and she had a really big 2019. And then I feel like it's been kind of slow. It was kind of slow in 2020, but everything was kind of slow in 2020. But 2019, she had her Love and Compromise album, which was fire, and that had a banger track with LMA. But I kind of like the singles that she has more.
Okay.
That were kind of a little bit before and post that album. But Mahalia, she's also British. She makes some fire R&B music, so I'd love another full-length project from her. And also, the project she put out in 2019 kind of sounded like, oh, you're indie and just kind of coming up. You know what I mean? She had an LMA feature when LMA was like on fire. But it had that rough around the edges kind of sound, like, oh, you're still finding your sound. You can tell it's like you have your sound, and then there's also the sound that maybe the label wants you to go with. Like, I want to hear a 2021 project from Mahalia where she's like sitting in her pocket, because she makes banger music.
Yeah, definitely send me that, because I definitely want to check her out.
Gotcha.
And then the last one, actually, for me, would be Ryan Caraveo, who... He supposedly has another album coming in 21 as well. That just recently announced that he has new music coming soon. So I'm curious to see where he takes it from his where he follows up from Butterfly Boy, which was my number one album in 2019. Actually, do you know Ryan Caraveo?
No, I
don't. Are you
don't.
familiar? All right, I'll have to get you hip on him. So he's another artist that has, again, he's more indie pop, indie alternative, some hip hop as well, but. Definitely a guy that I'm really intrigued by. Old fans of the show know that I was huge on him in 2019. So he had, again, his Butterfly Boy album was my number one from 2019. So those are again, and then I mean, I'm sure there's going to be other artists that I'm going to come on to this year. I mean, there's a new artist I'm very intrigued by, Red Veil, that I've been listening to this year.
Red Veil is funny, yeah,
really good. So hopefully there's an album attached to his new single he just came out. It was like How to Find Hope or something like that. I was big into that. Gave me like an Odd Future, Earl Sweatshirt type feel.
Definitely.
Earl Sweatshirt would be another one too that I would.
I was just gonna say Earl Sweatshirt. And it kind of, I think, kind of loose or ties it all together, because we were just talking about how much MF Doom was clearly influential for Earl Sweatshirt and Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator has been going crazy, and when I saw those videos circulate, of Earl and Tyler reacting, or from like the old video of them meeting MF Doom, it made me think, like, dude, where's Earl been? Like, Earl is such, I think, honestly, like one of the top 5 lyricists of our generation.
Oh yeah, incredible, man. Oh my god.
But
so
Feet
good.
of Clay and some rap songs are
songs.
Those are those last 2 projects he had. Some rap songs was super abstract and unmixed and real rough around the edges, and everybody remembers that. And then he followed it up with something even more unmixed and rough around the edges with Feet of Clay. Even though I loved the album cover to Feet of Clay, it was super scary and like weirdly dark.
Yeah.
But I thought there was gonna be more, audible rapping. Like,
there was really no substance on that it wasn't even an album. It was like a fairly short, like 15-minute EP.
Yeah.
And some rap songs was really short.
It sounded like he like kind of gave himself as many limitations as possible in terms of creating the music, and then was like, all right, this is to kind of re-emulate the SoundCloud or like Stuck in Your Room kind of music, you know what I mean? But you don't need to do that. I think you can get that style off and convey it accurately without actually not mixing it, because that's what a lot of it sounds like. But obviously there's an aesthetic to that, there's a style to that I'm not surprised that Earl likes to dabble in, and the rest of his music has that kind of aesthetic as well, because it's grungier, dirtier, kind of underground stuff. But I need another. Hey man, like 2021 and the time of Corona would be a perfect time to make a I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside part 2. You know what I mean? I need something.
I was
like
thinking that too,
bro.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, man, that would be amazing. And I'm super thrilled to see what we end up hearing in 2021. But yeah, man,
one last artist. Sorry,
go for it.
You're about to wrap it up, my brother. But one last artist who I love so much, and I was kind of disappointed with their last effort, is Mick Jenkins.
Good
Mick Jenkins.
Choice.
I love Mick Jenkins. I've been on the Mick Jenkins train for so long.
The Waters, baby.
Oh my God, The Waters, Waves, even Healing Component, which I thought was
pretty good.
Where I think that's where I think his catalog starts to dip a little bit, but Healing Component was still good. But I wasn't that big of a fan of Pieces of a Man, which was in 2018 that followed the Healing Component. And The Circus was and that was dropped in 2020. But that was very forgettable for me. Very, very forgettable, which I think is really sad because it sounds like he doesn't know exactly where he wants to keep his sound.
He's a little bit
and you
confused.
can only imagine that comes from like the influence of the industry. You know what I mean? Because it's just as he's gotten larger, I think he's left from his signature sound. Or you don't even necessarily have to be stagnant like that, right? Like I want to see artists change, but it has not been hit in the same way. And I know he dropped in 2020. But I want to say that was an early 2020 drop. Like I think that was like
very
a beginning
early
of 2020 drop. So
it was.
If he came back again in 2021, even with an EP or mixtape, I just feel like I've been missing him, man. Right? Like I don't know about you, but I love him so much, and I haven't been listening to his new stuff.
If he would get back in the pocket of Waves or The Waters, or even earlier than that, Trees and Truths, like I would love that Mick Jenkins again. That just very like indie, like more like stoner hip hop, really is what that that older stuff was. Very just like very much in the
like
that
a stoner
sort of
kind of boom bap. You know what I mean?
It was but I love his voice over that type of like smoother production. And there was a song that he actually was on recently. I have to find it. It was with oh my god, it's gonna bug me right now that I can't with Sadistic. I don't know if you know who Sadistic is. He dropped a song with Mick Jenkins and Zodiac. I'll send that to you. It's really good. Anyone that's listening to check that one out with Mick Jenkins. If he went back in that type of style of hip hop, that is what I would love to hear from him. So we'll see what happens, man. I mean, Mick Jenkins is again another artist. I'm glad you said that because Mick Jenkins is a guy that I really would hope drops something that I actually resonate with again in 21. So that's a lot of artists. I hope that we hear all those artists and more in 2021. But
I'm ending it, but we have to say Frank Ocean drop, man.
Frank Ocean.
You know what I mean? That's kind of a given, so I didn't want to open with that, but hey Frank, where are you? Come out, Frank.
We started with Kendrick. I mean, come on. At this point, let's you know what? We'll start and end with the obvious ones: Kendrick and then Frank Ocean. Yeah, definitely Frank Ocean as well. But yeah, hopefully, man, we hear from all of these artists that we mentioned today and more. I'm excited to come on to even some new artists, whether they're local or even national. Like we said, no, we went with more of like the national scene